Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Kira at Birth.of.a.madame, and I'm coming to you hoping to bring an authentic experience through my tarot, found poetry, and collage practice. I've been inspired by Kasia at Tarotmap. I'm going to label this a VR to her vision board, her little intention collage that she just recently put out. I'll put a link in the below. And so yeah, let's just get into it. Behind me here in this, I'm kneeling on the floor by my desk and I have my start of the year vision board collage behind me here. I had the idea of just coming to a place and cutting and pasting things that were appealing to me in some sort of intentional way. And this was in the start of 2019, or I would say a few weeks into January. And I worked on this for a few days. It kind of just took over it took over in this way that felt really good. It became like this place to feel good in my body, and to leave my thoughts. And I'd had a rough 2018. I'd suffered a concussion, and I'm still on that healing journey. I still have rippling effects of that injury. So this really started my collage journey. I hadn't really collaged as a practice or considered it something I did as an artist. I don't think I had yet considered myself an artist. This was just something I wish I remembered the exact reason why I was I'm just going to start cutting and pasting, but I did, and it was in January of 2019. And so behind you is this giant cardboard conglomeration of a lot of interesting pictures and words. I think I started right in this middle area and had, a lot of intention around healing my injury. So I have things like, those who contemplate the beauty of earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature. That's my cat, Hanzo. He's going a little crazy right now, a little wild. There's something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature, the assurance that dawn comes after night and spring after winter. Interesting how I'm just now getting into a really, I'm being guided and invited by Jen Lemon at Path of Devotions to pay attention to the seasonal change and the shift that we are in autumn. And that has been something I've been carrying with me all year. And I am just now starting this Path of Devotions fall circle with her and giving myself more time in nature. There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature. So that is happening right now. There's this beautiful mandala, with my heart, and then it branches out into this heart space. The heart is the place, or the wound is the place where light enters you. Cranes, dream, create, collaborate. I've been paying attention to my dreams. And this isn't something that I've actively worked with. I created it, and it's just had places in my home where I've just I can notice it. It currently is in my bedroom on a shelf, in the closet that has it's open. So, I wanted to invite in a lot of love. I have this, this whale journey. I had no idea in January that I would end up being at a retreat on Orcas Island. So whale, sand, small person. There's this whole area in this section. I don't know if you can read the words. It says Pathfinder Entrepreneur. I had no idea in January that by July I would start to take my tarot practice professionally and invite people to have tarot readings with me in exchange for money. And I'm continually developing what it means to be an entrepreneur to me. So it's interesting that there's this like woman and she's like running from something, or I see it as it's a person. I identify this as a woman running from something. And the quote, when you think about drifting an economy away from one of profit to one that's for the people, you have to think of the whole thing as an ecosystem. I know I got that from Yes magazine. It's a beautiful magazine. And to go back to going away from profit over people, my intent is that a tarot reading with me could be a place where a person does get a little bit of mirroring of what is going on in their life, and invite them to some sort of practice to become into stillness and just be a spark for their intuition. Nobody can have knowing for anyone else. I can't do the work for anyone else, just like the work can't be done for me. But I hope that in my readings that something I say or something that comes through the cards or through a divine message is expressed in a way that that person feels held and safe to explore deeper their own knowing. I have this like house. I'm currently in a transition time with my marriage. I'm staying with the family in the physical, but also trying to understand what it means to cohabitate, what it means to find a way in which I have my own. It says, in choosing to live in community, sharing not just a house, but their lives with each other, they've defined a new American dream. The typical nuclear family dynamic doesn't work for me. And I think it's one that doesn't work for a majority of the population. And I have that because I do yearn to explore and stretch the idea of what it means to live in community, share a home, cohabitate. Really big and bold is arts up top. There's a woman dancing in the redwoods. Trees have really, they speak to me. I wrote a story at that retreat on Orcas Island all about a tree. The candles have always, like this whole region, this like womb space of fire with love and like the butterfly has always been like the part of this collage that I'm really intrigued by, and I'm wondering how it's expressing itself. I have an eye on that. I feel like I've met this person, Jess at Golden Finch. I have no idea if that's a golden finch, but to me it is. So this feels like to me I've met this person on Instagram, and she's a giant healing light to me. So I think that's cool. There's this more trees, lots of flowers. A lot of my collages that I started out as a practice, because after this, moving into February, I did a 100 days project of collage, and it was all about expressing, I called it the Viva La Vulva collage, so it was a lot of vulva shapes, but represented through collage and things. So on here, I think that was the beginning of like working with flowers and but I have Move Naturally, which I'm starting to, this has been on my mind and spirit like this whole time. This has been like another really important like touchstone that I'm still working on. I also have this like little lakey poem down here. Read down by the lake, listening earth stars movement, sowing seeds, star turn lake. It was in late August, early September possibly. I found myself on a surprise like trip to where I'm originally from, which is the southern shores of Lake Superior in northern Michigan, Upper Peninsula of Michigan in the US of A. And one night I found myself chasing the northern lights or the aurora with my mother and my children, and it was like this like lots of emotions happening late at night. And by the time we found a spot, it was me and my oldest 3 children laying and looking up at the stars and the Milky Way. And I hadn't spent time like that with them ever. Well, I know we had done some stargazing before, but it felt really, really special. Like my 4-year-old was digging in the sand. It was cold. We were all bundled. And I just kind of laid there and had them to like talk out what was happening. And I don't quite remember what my daughter said, but she said something that like really touched my heart. And seeing the Milky Way and the edge of the like, I don't know, it's just so gorgeous. And we saw just flickers of aurora. We didn't really, but the magic was still very much there. So that feels really good. I have this little book list thing. I have this running joke in my head that I'm going to write a book. And I think it's going to be a poetry book. It's not a joke. It's for real. I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I feel like maybe I've been more my authentic self than I've been in my other videos with this video. And I'm looking for that because I really want to express my true nature and not feel like, okay, here I am to perform on YouTube. So I really thank Kasia for that, like showing such an intimate process, sharing of like what's going on and how magical it really is to like put something down without maybe even knowing how it will become, like casting this spell if you're into that thing. And I look forward to creating my 2020 collage, and I think it's going to be obviously totally different, and I think I'm going to come at it a little different. This came from like a very like, if you can believe it, like desperate place. I was in a lot of pain in January. I was still recovering from my injury, as I still am, but like this felt like desperate in that way. Like if I didn't do this, something more, or I would be, I don't know, this felt like a lifeline. This felt like a lifeline. That's what I think I'm trying to, and in some ways I think it was. So thanks for hanging in there with me for just over, we're coming in on 14 minutes. I did bring out my Herbcrafter's tarot. I have made myself a cup of tea, hopefully that's cooled down right now, from yarrow, mountain mint, and lavender in my garden. And so I thought I'd grab the Herbcrafter's tarot and maybe just pull one card for us all on this October day. We've just moved into Scorpio, and it's, whenever you find this hopefully this message has something for you, for us all. Okay. So we've got Bee Balm, 2 of water, and or is it 2 of fire? 2 of fire, excuse me. So 2 of wands, bee balm, and the curandera of water, seaweed. So 2 of wands. I'm going to read these because this deck is so new to me, and I don't want to just do the interpretation as 2 of wands. I want to do the interpretation of the Herbcrafter's Tarot. So this will be less of a intuitive pull and more of a guided by the deck itself. And 2 of fire, bee balm. A hat rests on a stone potting table. Bee balm plants grown from seed are ready to be transferred to the garden. Tools and gloves are gathered in preparation for planting. The pungent smell of the leaves and the vibrant color of the flaming red flowers sets the bees a-buzzing. An empowered, bright spirit inspires others. Bee balm brings bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds to the garden. Planting bee balm stirs activity in the area, igniting growth by shaping a diverse ecosystem. When making decisions, take a creative approach, be original and open to alternative ideas. Spicy bee balm remedies heal with a kick. Walk with flames of passion under your feet. Though excitement and fear may charge your actions, be confident about what must be done. Like these striking flowers, we attract what we would desire when we show our bold, colorful selves. So I feel like this is just a nod to what a vision board can do, or like what I'm expressing here. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, but I did attract things for myself. I made myself this beautiful like eye garden, and my eye would kind of follow it, and maybe what I saw out in my world I was able to receive better because of the things that I had put down on this board. So, and then curandera of water, which is seaweed, and the curanderas are the healers. Don't live in the shallows, live in the depths, strengthen your bones in the ocean's ebb and flow, rock gently on the water, heed the siren song. The curandera of water flows through life with ease. She neither hides her feelings nor lets them overtake her. She understands emotions, have cycles too, and she easily navigates their changes. She remembers that our first home was the sea, and to the sea we shall return. She makes time for daily rituals that bring deep healing. She washes away inner turmoil as she cleanses and bathes. She knows seaweed nourishes her body, and she enjoys snacking on the salty treat. People are drawn to her open heart and comforting embrace. Her counsel brings a sense of calm and well-being. An old bathtub is filled with seaweed next to a window, decorated with candles, shells, and a mermaid figurine. Towels, soaps, and bath salts are at hand. The view through the window is a sparkling ocean. Luscious greenery hangs in every corner of the room. An old woman adds hot water to the bath from an antique cast iron kettle. So, healer of water, I identify with the siren part of this. Rock gently on water, heed the siren song. Don't live in the shallows, live in the depths. So much healing to you. Maybe try out a vision board. If you've already done one, maybe for your year. Maybe we can do it. I'd love to see a VR to Kasia or me or whatever. So thank you, and many blessings in your visions, in your healing journey, in the magic that is you. So much love. Bye for now.